Welcome to Edinburgh for the global grand final of Climate Launchpad 2018. I am joined by one of the trainers, Paris Thomas. Hello, Paris.
Hello there. I'm a trainer for Climate Launchpad. I'm also a national lead for Cyprus and Greece.
And you have been involved with Climate Launchpad for quite a while, in fact, from the start. So why did you decide to join this adventure?
Well, first of all, yeah, it was from the beginning. It was 2000 and, 10? And no, it wasn't 10. It was 2014 or so. And we were 10 teams at the 10 companies at the time, 10 countries. And we decided, you know what, let's give this a chance. It sounds like an interesting proposition when you take something so big as climate change and make a competition out of it and say who can come up with a better idea. And so we thought, you know what, let's give it a chance and join and see what happens.
So I imagine your background is in entrepreneurship?
Yeah, you can say that, entrepreneurship and business. So I'm a trainer in not just for startups, but also for corporates who want to learn how to work like startups. So, I get a lot of energy by working with these startups. We're trying to figure out a very sustainable business model, and sustainable not just to make money, but also actually to be sustainable as a company. So a very noble cause anywhere you look at it.
So Paris, can you share your very practical tips or the ones you share with startups to really take off?
All right, so quite a few. But if I were to say what is the number one thing we talk about when it comes to startups, especially because they're young companies, right? It's the team. And investors look at that as well. So if you look at the team itself, are they the people who can make it happen? Nobody has an idea in isolation. There's always somebody else on this planet that has the same exact idea. And so when people come in and say, you know what, I don't want to share my idea unless you sign an NDA, that's not really solid thinking. What you need to bet on is your team. And by team, we mean more than one individual. So usually get two people minimum, if more, better, and make sure that you have solid communication between you. You understand what you're doing, you know what your dreams and aspirations are. And part of what Climate Launchpad is to make them think, does this startup fit your founder's dream? And if it doesn't, change startup, don't change your dream, because that's what drives you. So that's, I think, one of the most solid pieces of advice you can get within this competition or any startup you build in any industry. Make sure you're doing this with the right people.
Okay, so the right people, the right skill set, the right idea. Also, that's important, isn't it? What can you tell us about that?
Well, and that's why Climate Launchpad is here. We go from 1,500 ideas down to the top 10. Right? That's a lot of filtering that's happening. So what is the right idea? I mean, you ask different people, they'll have their own opinion. But the right idea is the one that basically has the right team behind it, and it has an impact that's substantial when it comes to climate impact. And so one of the beautiful things about this competition is it doesn't just look at the traditional industries. When people think of climate, they think of solar, wind. And Climate Launchpad is about solving climate change one startup at a time. You have these amazing local solutions that might not work for every single part of the world, but they will make a big impact in their country. And so that's something we really pay attention to, because I don't know if anybody else is. So we're building an army of startups that can solve climate change.
And what's happened to the winners of the past years? Do you support them afterwards, or do you just leave it there? What happens?
Yeah, so the point of entering Climate Launchpad is to enter the accelerator. And so this is just the beginning. And you would think of it as a stage one out of a 3-stage process. After they successfully join the accelerator, they go through about 18 months of acceleration. That means that they will learn to find a repeatable and scalable business model, which means how are they going to bring in money? And a lot of people think of climate change as an issue with polar bears. Problem with polar bears, they don't have money. And so we need to be the entrepreneurs that build profitable businesses that actually help solve climate change. And so that's what they're doing. They're building a repeatable business model. And then in stage 3, they go through all the financials and talking to investors and finding the resources they need to grow and expand from there. So what we see is that Climate Launchpad is a fantastic recruitment effort that gives us access to global ideas. We pick the best with the most potential and invest in them, so we can actually see them become successful and tackle the agenda of climate change.
And is there a big theme this year in particular that you are looking into, or are all the startups in different areas?
I think I enjoy the fact that they're in different areas. So we don't focus on one theme, because you kind of constrict them too much. You just let the best ideas come forward, and then we'll see what the thematics are about. All of them have to do something with climate change, and so we just pick the ones with the most opportunity.
So Paris, to sum up, what does it take to be a winner?
Okay, so what does it take to be a winner? You know what? It's not about the idea, to be perfectly honest. It's about how you pitch it. So you may have a fantastic idea, but you haven't really honed the skill of speaking, public speaking, and making people understand your idea. So there's a lot of great ideas that stay in the shower where people came up with them. Right? And so you need to be able to hone, as an entrepreneur, if I were to give a second piece of advice, you need to be able to hone the art of communicating your idea to make somebody else care. And a lot of the training at Climate Launchpad is focused and centered around that. And as people grow that expertise, you see that their ideas go places. Right? Great ideas, the whole world is full of great ideas, but we need to make sure that they can communicate them so they can actually make an impact.
Paris, thank you very much.
You're welcome.